Because it's not playing. Hello. I thought we were starting with the hype video, but I guess it's broken. So, welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR. We sign up for a new account. Get amazing odds boosts every single day. Avs hockey is back. Sort of. Probably not for like another hour.
You know it's back because we already have a comment that says, don't take the Hawks for granted.
They're undefeated. That's what they said,
True.
and I think that's so
not
funny.
wrong. Not wrong. Nonsense. And it's really hard for me to call their defense NHL caliber.
Jack Johnson, top
pairing Jack Johnson. That's
so
a
crazy
thing.
because you have Jack Johnson, and on the other hand, you have Seth Jones, who's actually he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, they have one real NHL defenseman out of 6.
I wanted Seth Jones to be so different.
How?
In so many ways.
I think that I didn't mean for this to become a criticism of Seth Jones to start the show. I'm so sorry. I just remember back to a time where people...
one good player. Even that guy sucks.
He doesn't suck. I just remember a time where people saw his fit in Colorado and they speculated, go for Seth Jones. And I remembered then concerns about developing a young defenseman. And I just feel like the Seth Jones we see today is so similar to what would have happened to him in Colorado too. Just difficulty anchoring a blue line and driving play there and leading it the way that has been needed from him. And I think it was unfair to put that responsibility on his shoulders, and it's been hard for him to live up to it.
I will say, hindsight being 2020, the Avs have been pretty good with 4th overall defensemen.
Yeah, he would have been a first overall defenseman.
I know.
In which their history is a little iffier.
Not as good. Anyway, getting into tonight's game, the Avs are coming in not fully healthy, but pretty close. Landeskog, the only major injury on the team, and Darren Helm out for a little while. Not playing tonight, we'll put it that way. So outside of Landy, their defense is fully healthy, goaltending good to go. We'll get to Alex Newhook in a minute, stepping into the top 6 as well as some other guys. But on paper, these two teams are not the same by any stretch of the imagination.
No. How many? We're gonna look back. We're gonna look back on this roster the way that we do the 2014-15 Sabres roster, and think, wow, an owner paid millions of dollars to that roster.
Yep, it's a thing that's gonna happen. Although,
what's the floor? Like 70 million or something?
It's 61, I believe.
61. Okay,
yeah.
$61 million being spent on.
Well, to be fair,
an attempt to finish dead last.
25% of that 61 million is going to 2 players.
Yeah.
So, a little bit top heavy. Evan, is expectations for tonight? Are you looking for anything specific or just a win?
I think they're going to curb stomp this team. That's what I think is going to happen. It's, I mean, we're talking about Anton Bleed on the 4th line, and we're like, Anton Bleed might be like a second-line player on the Chicago team if he was on that team. This is there's a wide difference in between these two teams, and I expect that to show up pretty quickly tonight.
Harsh but fair.
Yeah, I mean, being at morning skate today, it reminded me of what it felt like being at morning skate before Game 1 against Nashville, where the Avs came out. And you were like, okay, like they're doing their thing. I'm very accustomed to this. And then the other team comes out and you're like, oh, this is a lot different. This is a team that does not want to be here. And like, I was disappointed. It's day 1. It's game 1 of the season. And that team already looks
done.
So uninterested in being there. It was really just the energy and the attitude. I was watching a lot of it. Like, I was watching Peter Mrazek in net working with the coaches, and he just
was not about
totally checked out on it. Like He was just they were trying to bank pucks in off the back of his pads and doing it, and he just was like, oh, like my leg hurts and oh this and that, and like he's just making excuses for it, and the coach is just like, just seal the post.
Just do it.
Just seal the post. And so they kept doing it, and it was just he was not sealing it consistently. He was whoever the coach was getting like he's banking pucks in, and Mrazek's just like, And I'm just watching it, and I'm like, the energy and the attitude and the approach, it's just so different.
It's got to be so difficult. Like, the Avs that year, no one expected them to be that bad.
Right.
To come into camp and have, like, watch your team just trade away everyone except for two guys who they can't trade away because they make too much money.
And who will get traded away as the season goes on. It's
got to be so mentally difficult. And, like, they're professionals. They have to go out there and do what they got to do. But I imagine that's tough to get up for games when you're like, they don't even want us to win. Why are we here?
Thank you for the $2 Pin King. I guess we're dunking on the Broncos for being owned by Walmart now, I guess. I don't know. And then $20 Canadian from Trevor, who says, cheers, the NVR crew. Here's to hoping you have to wait until July for a day off.
Don't you say that, Trevor. I'll use that day off to find you.
We'll get some days off in there. There's the All-Star break.
I mean, they start with a back-to-back. We're good on Friday.
That's true. We get 3 days off this whole weekend. Did want to move into tonight, actually. Avs are putting the banner up tonight. AJ, you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show. Do we care that much about the banner? Like, it's cool. It's a neat thing, but are we really making that big of a deal out of it?
I'm personally not making a big deal out of it. I think it'll be cool once I'm back in the arena and I see the banner now up in the place of where the rafters had that little empty spot. But the reality of what the Avs did this summer has been set in for a while now. And so it didn't really take this banner raising ceremony for it to be refreshed in my mind of how cool that was. And I think there's just a forward-thinking attitude of what the Avs want to do now with the rest of the season.
All right, Chat hard disagrees.
Yeah,
but
Chad disagrees with us.
I will pretend I didn't see it.
Look, I'm with you. The banner's cool. It's a neat thing, but
the Central Division banner is already up there.
Yeah, they didn't even bother.
The Western Conference champion banner already up there. So, I mean, obviously the raising of the banner is like the cup banner.
Look, banners.
It's fine.
Banners are much cooler. As Chad is saying, banners do last forever. The banners are way cooler 20 years from now when you look up at that banner and go, yeah, I remember when the Avs won that cup.
I mean, it's a weird thing because it is awesome. You put up a banner when you've earned a banner. It's so sick, right? But the actual process of it going up to the
I feel that's
banner,
been misunderstood. The raising of the banner specifically.
Yeah, and like it being a big deal in and of itself to raise it, I don't think I care about even in the slightest. But it is a great thing to see because you do look at the other end. I was talking to Jesse this morning.
The empty Nuggets.
And you look at the other end of the arena and you're like, they have 7 division titles or something like that. And that's it. The Avs, I think, are up to 11.
It's 11 or 12, yeah.
Yeah, it's 11 or 12. They've got 3 President's Trophy banners, 3 Western Conference Trophy banners, or the Western Conference Championship,
and 3
Stanley Cups.
Yep.
And you're like, look, that history is the shit. It is something to be proud of. It is something that they've earned. It is something that they've worked for. It is been more excellence than not in Colorado, and that's how you market. That's the line of demarcation is you look at those banners and you listen to Matt Dumba talk about how much he hates the commercial with the Avs lifting the Stanley Cup and how it just pisses him off because that's their blood rival and they haven't won shit. They don't even know what a Stanley Cup final feels like to be in. So it's like, you don't want to take it for granted that they've earned that banner. And I think we've done a good job appreciating all aspects of it.
The whole shebang.
But the banner itself being raised is just not a big deal.
I agree.
For me, if you get really amped about it, that is
go
awesome.
Off. Fan how you want to fan, absolutely.
But in 10 years, tell me that you remember it.
Yeah. You'll remember the cup night. You won't remember the banner night.
You'll remember the night if they win 10-0, which
remember
they
the
might.
game.
Well, with the team on the other
we talked about it before the show. You remember Joe Sakic night because nothing was expected from that Avalanche team.
Yep.
They were playing a very good San Jose Sharks club, and they bodied them.
Yep.
They went out and they bodied that team, and it was it turned into a memorable night. Milan Hadic's retirement night is as
Beat Minnesota like a drum.
yeah, is as memorable for the Devin Dubnyk Gabe Landeskog fight as anything else. Like, you remember that? Did anybody? You ever hear anybody talk about Peter Forsberg night? No, because that game sucked, and they lost.
Didn't they get shut out too?
No.
It was like 3-0 or 3-1 to the Red
I think
Wings
it was.
or
I think
something
it was
like
3-1.
Yeah.
It was 3-1, 2-1.
Well, you remember jersey retirements more because it's like we haven't seen these guys in a few years, and it's like a final. You say goodbye to the player.
I might.
This team's been partying all summer.
Maybe
We've been celebrating all summer.
Maybe I'd
so it's a
remember the
little
banner
different.
night if every 2 minutes with a stoppage in play they cut to the cup, like sitting in the building.
Yeah.
Or the banner slowly goes up as the game goes on.
Yeah.
I feel misunderstood. I want Chad to know, at Morning Skate, I took a picture of the empty spot where the banner will be soon raised. Like, I'm sentimental. I just don't think
it's
the
awesome.
act of raising the banner
So-
Yeah, when it's
and not
there,
being there,
it will be appreciated.
I'm going to look at it when it's there and it's up and I'm in the arena in the future.
I saw the picture. Are the other banners just really old and dirty, or are they just a different color? Or does somebody... I got a power washer at home. Do they need that thing power washed?
They had to take them down and move them, so they had the opportunity to wash them.
Yeah, I think they're just a different color because
they-
the white on the new ones,
I know.
you're like,
Like
oh,
shine.
these things pop.
I know. I was like,
you're
what's...
right.
I was like, the other ones look really dirty. Somebody power wash those things.
Old and busted, new hotness. All right, it's fine.
They are discolored.
Getting in. This is
The game itself, I don't know what there is to say.
Well, so-
we've talked about the preseason. The Avs are much better. They should dominate this game. It will be a disappointment if this is a close game and or they lose.
One thing I wanted to get into about this game and the season on a whole. You guys kind of touched on it in your roundtable. Go check it out on thednvr.com.
Yeah, do that.
More important to the Avs' season success: Alex Newhook or Bowen Byram?
Newhook. Newhook.
Newhook.
I think Byram has a chance to be one of the 5 to 10 best defensemen
which
in the
one?
NHL.
If he's that and Newhook's the best he can be, which one is more important?
more important
To the Avs' success.
I think it's Byram.
Okay.
Just based on role, just based on position. If he ascends and he becomes their second best defenseman this year, like, it's not his fault that Devon Taves exists and is also top human. You know,
Sure.
Sam Girard is great. Like, they need Newhook. But if Newhook isn't the guy, Evan Rodriguez is right there. In the same way that if Byram isn't, Devon Taves is there.
You got Taves, you got Manson, you got.
So it's like yeah, you know, like they're. I don't know that it's as vital for Byram to take a step forward, but I think his ceiling is higher, and so I'm picking him.
All right, we're 1-1. Megan.
Are we measuring more important to team success in a single season?
Yeah, let's not look to the future this year.
And it is a slightly different question from the roundtable because it's team impact versus who takes a bigger step forward.
Sure.
And I think those are two different answers
are,
for
for
me
sure.
too. I'm still really struggling to find where, because the departure of Nazem Kadri is so huge. If they can replace that in some way, like the loss in the D-core is not felt the same way, right?
Definitely
The
not,
same way
yeah.
that losing Kadri is felt in the current Avs forward group. And so I think that Newhook has the biggest contribution to make if he can be what we hope him to be in a single season too. Like, I don't have this expectation that Newhook will be everything that we hope in just one season, but he'll take a step towards that. And if he can be that 60-point player like we talked about in the roundtable, that's going to have a huge impact because it's going to help alleviate some of what losing Kadri did. Whereas that D-Corp, we kind of touched on it a second ago, is and was so solid that I think just measuring a single season, if Newhook can be a 2-center, those don't grow on trees, neither do Bo Byram's, but what they have to replace in the lineup with Kadri gone is so important.
I also think Newhook developing is very contingent on what they're going to do in 4 months, 5 months.
That's
It
the
very
big
much
part for me.
changes
Yeah.
the outlook later in the season.
Your trade deadline looks
So-
wildly different
Yeah, if
depending
Alex
on.
Newhook is legit and you're
Yeah.
good, you're not going out and getting a 2C. You're probably looking at a 3C.
Yep.
And he probably plays for Chicago.
Yep. And if your defense is healthy, you're not picking up any defenseman.
You're like that's the one where you're like 6th round pick for a 7th dude.
Yep, exactly.
Jack Johnson.
I was gonna say it might be Jack Johnson actually.
Well, that's. Are we all in agreement? Jack Johnson is scoring the first goal of the Avalanche season again this year.
If a puck goes off of him and into the net, it will be the funniest 2-year stretch.
And then he just gives a little wink to the Avs bench.
He goes by. He does the skate by with the fist bump.
He takes off his glove and his rings on.
Like, I know hockey culture would hate that, but I would adore that.
It would be the greatest. It would be the greatest if he like just leaned into it and was like, "We're supposed to be losing here anyway."
It's for Bedard.
Oh man, that would be funny.
I'm in for this. Chicago, every time the other team scores, you're just getting line like, "Thanks, you're getting us, Bedard."
That would be great. I love that.
Okay, does look like this Washington-Boston game is winding down. We've got a cup ceremony banner raising to get to, and we're doing a watch-along downstairs, so we got to switch sets.
It's really the watch-along that we have to go and get set up, because everything else is going to happen half an hour from now.
Very quickly, Yahir, rattle off Blaze's bets for us.
I don't have a mic.
All right, he's going to tell me the bets. The bets are bet on the Avalanche a lot to win. That's it.
He said, go big or go home. It's Arturi Lehkonen, anytime goal.
Lehkonen to score,
Nice.
Plus 190.
plus 190.
Avalanche team total goals in the first period, over 1.5.
2 goals at least for the Avs in the first.
Plus 145. Kill McCarr, over 1.5 points. Plus 170.
And Cale McCarr, 2 points, plus 170.
Sick.
Can
There
I
you
give
go.
a lineup update?
Do we have one?
Yeah, so Bleed was last off the ice, and it was kind of suspicious. Like, is he not going tonight? And they have Curtis McDermott playing on that 4th line as a forward, and Bleed's out.
So why? You know what?
Sick.
We'll talk about it another time.
See you all in the post game.
Send it.
The leaves are turning, the temperature is dropping, the ponds slowly freezing. With that fresh sheet of ice comes another hockey season. This time, the Colorado Avalanche back as the defending Stanley Cup Champions. No longer are they a team defined by their shortcomings of unfinished business. Their success has raised the bar of expectations to nothing short of repeating last spring's incredible run to the Cup. When you climb the mountain, you become the mountain. As they look down on the rest of the NHL, the Avalanche have one message to every team coming for the throne: bring it on.